In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to create a sign-up page which is connected to MySQL database. In this application, if we click on the sign up button without any entry, it will show the message error. Now, if we see the edge text field, it is not formatted. To create a format text field, you can also go to the top left link. Now, if we enter the detail of a user, now, if you notice, we can also enter the character, but I am assuming the ideal condition where all input are always integer. You can also select the date of birth by clicking on this button, and you can also change the year, or you can also change the month, and clicking on the set date will be set. If we enter password 123 and we try to enter wrong password, it will show the message error. It will also find the blank password. So we have to enter the perfect password and selecting the sender, and if we click on the sign up, it will be so successful message. Now, for using this application, you need to install MySQL. The links are on description. Now, installing MySQL, go to the applications and you will find the MySQL. Click on the MySQL server and click few times next button. You can change the port if your port are busy by the different server. In this MySQL version, you can not modify the security settings, so uncheck the security setting. Click next and click on execute button. You will find error, so go back and also try to execute 1 or 2 times. Now, for creating database, again open the MySQL on your application. You can also pin the MySQL as I pin on a desktop or in a start. Now open your MySQL. For default, MySQL has a root as a username and null as a password. Press enter to login. Now we are going to create database, so type create database. After the space of database, we are going to give a database name to MyDB. Now using our database, type use my database or a name of your database. We are going to create a table in database, so type create table. Now name of table, so in this case I am giving a sign up name for my table. Now I am pressing enter for more space of working. Now we are using different fields like first name, last name, username, age, date of birth, password, and a gender. Now we have to set the type of a field, so we are using varchar for a first name of size 50. Similarly for last name and a username. Now again I am changing the line for a more space to work. Now we are using the age as a tiny int. For the date of birth, we are using the MySQL date. And for password, we are using a varchar type. And for gender, we are creating a character. For character, we don't need to enter any size because they are always a single character. Now we are creating a binary key, that means no repeated or duplicate value can be possible for that field. For seeing or describing your table, type DEC, table name and enter. You will get the all detail or structure of table. Now close your MySQL, open your NetBeans and click on this button to create your project. Select Java from categories and Java application and click on the finish button. Give the name of your project and uncheck mark the create main class and click on the finish button. Now in project panel, you will find a library and source package of your project. Right click on the library, go to library, add library and type MySQL and select MySQL DCB driver and click on the add button. Now expand your source and default package, add a new JFrame. We are going with the default name. Now at the right side you will find a palette. In palette you will get a different option to drag and drop in creating a different password field and a text field. So we are taking a text field or a label. We are taking a label on the top left corner, and similarly we can also drag a text field for creation of our application. But if you notice, I have an extra palette option like JDateChooser or JDateChooser, and if we draw a JDateChooser, you will find I have a different option to choose a date. For adding the palette swings, you can have to download a JCalendar, which already given in description. So I am going to delete this JCalendar. For adding the JCalendar, right click on it and go to the palette menu. Now click on the add jar file and browse your JCalendar jar file. I have a different type of JCalendar or a calendars, but I am using JCalendar for this tutorial. Now you have a different option to select, so Ctrl A to select all, and you can select the category to save your JCalendar. Now you will get a special JCalendar, and I am going to time lapse for this construction of the whole sign up page. In time lapse, I change all variable name to fDesign or fname design for lname design and uname design. And for date, I am change the date to date design. For changing the font size, click on the any type of your label or design and go to the font and click on this ripple button and change the font size. I also change the model of a JCombo box. So changing the model, click on the JCombo box, go to the properties and change the model. In this model section, the male will be defined the index of 0 and female will be defined the index of 1. Now we are going to add an event on a retype password for checking a password for confirmation. So we are using the focus load event. In focus load event, this event will be called whenever the focus is lost on a specific text field. So we are going to create a character array for pass and repass, and initializing a pass array with pass design dot get password. It will be return as a character array and repassword will be returned as the same character array. Now for comparing the array, type if arrays dot equals. Now you will get a different option. So we are using to character array and we are comparing or checking pass and repass array. But we have to type some message when this array are not equal. So we are using not and typing a j option pane dot show message dialog and parent component set to the null. And here we will type a message which we want to set or print whenever the password is not matched. But we also want to empty the text field or a password text field. So we are using the scope of if braces and type pass design dot set text double quotes. Similarly for the repass design dot set text. So this will be complete our password checking process. Now we have to add an event on a button. So we are going to action event. So this event will be called whenever the left mouse button will be clicked on this button. So we are defining a string with the fname, lname, username and password, which will be passed to our database. Fname is initializing by the fname design dot get text. Similarly for lname, uname and password. For password, we are initializing a password with the retype design or repass. We are initializing a password with the repass design because if repass design is empty, there must be no input for a password. But if we get some value, it will definitely the same value as a password key. For checking the empty values in a string, type fname or a string object dot equals and double quotes for a null value. And we have to check for all single values, so that's why we are using the OR operator. So whenever any field will be empty, a message will be print. Now, if any field will be empty, we have to print the error message. So type j option parent dot show message dialog and set a parent component to null and type your message in double quotes. So if all details are entered by the user, then we have to enter this data in database. So we are creating the else block where we are create where we will define the database coding and connect to database and also pass the error. For edge, we are going to set the default value index field to 0. So go to the design, right click on it and select the edit text and type 0 and then press enter. Now again go to the source. For edge, we are using the int because edge is the integer type in our database. So type edge equals to integer dot pass and type the edge design dot get text. For this integer, we are assuming there will be no other value than integer. For creating a date, type java.sql date, an object of SQL date is equals to new and constructor with the long data. So we are basically using a MySQL date and taking a MySQL date into the object or initializing the object in MySQL date. Type date design.get time to convert this date into the long. So in this line, this will be the class. This is the object of our class, and we are initializing the object with the constructor which convert the long value to the date. So this is a constructor, and with this we are getting a date, and get time will be return a long value of a date for the particular time interval. Now define a character for a gender equals to. So we are using the index value to define our gender. So we are using a ternary operator. When index value is 0, we are defining the value to m, and wherever index value is 1 or other than 1, because there is no other than 1 possibility, so we are defining the value with m. So type gender design dot get selected index equals to 0 0, and we are defining the value to m, otherwise it will be f. Now define a try catch block and type class dot for name. In this block we have to enter the driver name of the class. So you can also go to the property, expand your libraries, and second metadata service you will find MySQL or a JavaSQL driver, and you can copy the detail and directly paste into the MySQL database. Or you can also go to the given link in the description of a tutorial point, and if you scroll down, you will find a table with the different type of database driver names in the URL format for a database. Now again go to the NetBeans. Now we have to set up the connection between database and Java application. So type java.sql.connection, and we are going to create an object of connection.conf equals to driver manager. It will be call all driver for our connection. .get connection. So we are using a get connection method with the URL, password and username. So we already know the username and password. So type our username as a root because it is a default username for MySQL database, and password is null. For the URL, you can directly copy the link by given in the page. So copy the link or URL format and paste the URL format in a URL. Now change the localhost and database name. So we are using the localhost is our host and the database name is MyDB. Now we have to create a statement which will be executed in our database. We type java.sql.statement. Now we create a statement object equals to connection. So we are using a connection to create a statement. Dot create statement. Now we have to create the SQL statement or SQL query. So type string.db query equals to. Now type the SQL query into these double quotes. So we are typing insert into signup space values this, and for first name we are using the double quotes, last name is username. But for H we don't need a double quotes, so we are not using double quotes. Date also need the quotes, similarly for password and a character. Now double quote inside this and type plus plus and pass a value of fname. Similarly for the last name, username, password, age, none. Now for executing this query into database, we just use a statement. So type statement object dot execute and call the execute update to execute our query into database. So when the successful query executes, we have to print a message for a successful result. So type j_message and set a parent component null and type your message into double quotes. After the successful execution, we have to empty and set a default value of date to current date. For clearing a value, type fname design dot set value or set text to null. Similarly for the lname, for a age design, we are setting the default value to 0, and for a date of birth, we are setting a default value to current date. For setting a default date to current, date design dot set date, and just use a new keyword and call a constructor of a date of a Java util. So type java.util.date. Now copy this line and scroll up to the code, and you will find a constructor of a JFrame. After the init component, paste this line and it will be automatically set a default date whenever the application is launched. To run the code, in this code we are initializing, then we will check a default values, and if else part we will initialize the integer and a date, and then we will check a character and connect your database. Now go to the run, click on the test project, and bottom right you will find the build result. Now click on the run project and click on OK button. The application will be run and you can test the application with the default different tasks. So if we click on the submit button or sign up button without any input, it will show the message error. And if we enter the values for first name, last name and username, and if we enter the submit button without any password, it will also show the message. Now enter the age and select the date of birth, and if you try to enter the wrong password, it will show the message again error. Now click on the sign up button and it will show the successful message. For seeing the database value or entry of database, go to database, login into database. Now type use database name and type select star from, where star define the all values, and type the table name, and you will see the all values are entered in a database. So this concludes this video. Thanks for watching.